Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining from. My name is Georgina Dean, and I am joining the very exciting GEG APAC event today from GEG Amman's channel in Amman, Jordan. So I'm super, super excited to be able to share a very exciting session with you guys today. So let me know in the chat where you guys are joining from. Shout out to Mel and to Shannon, who are joining from California. Oh, no, sorry. Shannon's from California, and Mel is joining from Colombia, in Cali, Colombia. So cool. So I am basically going to be sharing, as you can see from the screen, wrong side, next to me over here, we're going to be sharing all about the iCONversation today. So if you've had a chance to check out on the GEG Asia APAC website, which is here, so shout out to everybody who has been participating in this event. Some really, really inspiring and creative sessions going on. So if you haven't had a chance yet to check them out, just visit this site here, which is also linked into my presentation in the logo for GEG APAC. And I'm going to drop that link actually here for you guys in the chat. Nice black coffee to start the morning. And yeah, so check it out. There's other sessions coming up today. Today is the third day of the event. And also, I'm going to drop this slide deck in the chat for you guys as well. Oh, thank you. Yes, it is a very exciting day for me. I am starting the 4th decade of my life today. So I'm turning 40, and I'm so excited to be celebrating with all of you with creativity and leveraging these awesome Google for Education applications across education to inspire and empower creativity. So here is the deck in the chat. So feel free to join me. Would love to see you guys on there. And yeah, let's see what we can do about getting more digital stories out to our educators, our community, and also to our students, because at the end of the day, getting them creating, getting them critically thinking, getting them creatively problem solving is really, really important in this 21st century. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm just going to change my screen here so you guys can see that a little better. Awesome. So the question in the chat today was, what is your favorite story? Mel was sharing that she didn't have a favorite story, but she liked The Secret Garden. That's super cool. And yeah, absolutely. So share your favorite stories, guys. Let me know in the chat as we go throughout. Here's some information about me. If you'd like to connect with me, obviously you all joined here at GEG Amman, so you can definitely connect with me here. And there are you can click on these icons to connect with me in different spaces as well. So looking forward to connecting after the fact. Today's session, guys, we're going to explore storytelling, curiosity, creativity, iCONversations. There's a little sharing is caring challenge because we all know that that is so important. And there is a Q&A. This is an interactive kind of like choose your own adventure story slide deck. So feel free to take a copy of that, and it is all interactive. So when you click on a part of the slide deck, it's going to take you to a different part of the story. Also wanted to shout out this Jamboard deck in the exploration kit. So if you guys click on the little Jamboard icon, it's going to take you to this Jamboard slide, and I'd love for everybody to join. Can you guys just let me know if you can hear, sorry, cat hair everywhere this morning, guys. Let me know if you can hear the edit on the Jam slide. I'll watch the chat for a second before I move forward. I would like you guys to be able to edit. Sometimes when I change the permissions on the Google slide deck, these end up changing. Mel cannot edit. Okay, perfect. Let me just check this again then. Yeah, turned into view. Let's put that on edit for everybody. Yay. Okay, can you guys do me a favor and just click refresh on your Jam deck and you should be able to edit. Okay, so what is your story? This is basically going to be a sharing space, but it's also going to be a space you guys can have a conversation using icons. So we're going to get to icons and why I want to talk about icons and their purpose in creativity and digital storytelling in just a second. But I wanted you guys to know this is here. Feel free to use it to share your story. You can use images, you can use sticky notes, and you can also use shapes to draw your icons. We're also going to be taking a look at Google drawings, and so if you wanted to create in Google Drawings and share here in Jamboard, feel free as well, because everybody knows how much I do love app smashing. So feel free. The idea will be for us to create our stories together here in Jamboard. Okay, so without further ado, let us start with storytelling. Okay, so here is a really awesome graphic, and all of the credits, by the way, are linked in the bottom of the slide deck, so you can check those out after. But basically, what is your idea of a story? Why do we tell stories? And where do stories come from? So obviously, there's a big history behind the story, but the digital story is basically leveraging the power of visual representation. And the icon goes way, way back in history. An actual icon are these little images here on this image that I've placed there. This is also an image here that I'm highlighting right now, this little storybook with all of these exciting ideas coming out. Stories relate to curiosity. Stories are very exciting. They engage and they activate our imagination. So it's really, really important, especially in education, that we're not only fostering the curiosity through stories and sharing stories and reading with our students all the time. But it's also really important that we are giving them the space and the time to create their own stories and to share those stories so that they can also inspire their classmates and others globally. So the icon itself, for example, like an icon like this, icons come way, way back from a special country called Egypt, where I used to live for over a decade, and with hieroglyphs. And so if you're familiar with Egyptian history, all the Egyptians used to use hieroglyphs to write inside the pyramids, inside tombs, etc. I was feeling grateful to have visited there and seen that in the Great Pyramids, as well as in the Valley of the Kings. And so it's really, really beautiful. They sculpt these icons called hieroglyph inside stone on the walls, and sometimes they're in color and sometimes they're in black and white. But if you read them, they actually tell the story. They tell history. They unfold where we come from. And there's many other examples as well throughout history where images are found. Good morning, Stacy. Thanks for joining. Shout out to Stacy from GEG SoCal. And thank you for the warm wishes. That's awesome. So let me know if you're just joining in what your favorite story is and if you have used icons before to tell stories. I know we have some people who actually teach English joining in the chat. So give me a shout out where else you have seen the use of images. And so we're going to get into that a little bit later, but basically, it tells the story of history. So this is really, really nicely laid out in this infographic. It shares an idea. There's content, so we get information from the story. And usually there's a mixture of text, so there's words there, but it could be told just by the use of images. And so that relation for the visual information that we have in our brains and also our memories and the experiences we have. Like as soon as I started talking to you guys about hieroglyphs in Egypt, I got very excited because I've been there. That's the place that I call home, and I have visited these very historical places. And so when we are digital storytelling, we want to make sure that we are also invoking the same kinds of experiences and love and passion for history, for stories, whatever it is that we're trying to share with our students. And that's basically it there. So the share icon is on the bottom left. And marketing, obviously marketing may sound like very business oriented, but marketing is actually promoting your story, right? And how are we going to do that? We can do that very visually with these infographics. Communication is really key, and also feedback. So these are really, really important parts of education as well. So all of that can be done with a super powerful, engaging, and meaningful story. And how can we support our students to create those, to share their message, advocate for what they want to get out to the world in authentic and meaningful ways? And I have a quote here on the slide, maybe a little small to read even for myself. I don't have my glasses on this morning, by Stephen Denning, so leadership guru. And he says, storytelling supplements analytical thinking by enabling us to imagine new perspectives and new worlds, and communicating change and stimulating innovation. So we are in the 21st century, right? And what a crazy decade we've had, of growth across the world. And especially 2020, this has been a very interesting year, to say the least. COVID hasn't been super awesome to us. It's not like a great experience, but there are some silver linings, and we definitely have seen tenfold growth in ed tech and leveraging of technology to inspire learning and create more independent learners, but also to spark curiosity and innovation. And so how can we use storytelling to do that? All right, if you use the GEG APAC Connect logo at the top right of the slide, it will take you back to the main screen. So again, feel free to take a copy of the slide deck. Oh, hey, Pile. Nice of you to join. Pile's joining from Mexico. Really nice global participation today in the thread. I'm going to go ahead and share the deck again for anybody who is, and I'm just going to make it editable. There we go. Share the deck in the chat so you guys can actually edit. So the idea, guys, is there's a Q&A at the bottom. If you have any questions, feel free to jot them here on the Q&A slide. And otherwise, you can always head back to the exploration page to get to different parts of the presentation. Okay, awesome. Are you guys ready? It is time for some storytelling fun. Super exciting. Okay, so if you click on storytelling, where we were a second ago, and actually just go down to the next slide. This is called the 4 Icon Challenge. The 4 Icon Challenge is something that I learned about at the beginning of this year in one of my other professional learning communities, the Adobe for Education. And I'm really, really excited because I'm actually going to be teaching this unit in my creative media class with my year 12s and possibly my year 13s as well, and for the term 2 after the holidays. And I'm really excited because although some of our younger learners in primary elementary schools may not necessarily be able to leverage like the professional tools like Adobe InDesign or Adobe Illustrator, for example, they absolutely can leverage things like Google Slides, Google Drawings, and Jamboard to share their story. So the idea is, how powerful can a single icon be? So this idea of a 4 icon challenge is basically to tell a story. So I'd really love to invite you guys to join me on slide 5, and please click just refresh on the slide deck if you're not able to edit still, because I just updated the permissions and I've dropped the slide number 5 specifically. And I'd love for you guys to edit with me and share your guesses on the slide deck by double clicking on the gray section to share your guess. And I'm just going to go ahead and blow my nose while you guys are doing that. Little chilly this morning, and yeah, so go ahead and double click on the icon box and share your guesses for what you think this story is actually sharing. Oh, you're welcome, Stacy. That's my pleasure. And I think there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, we have a guess. I like that. That's a pretty good guess, I have to say. By the way, just to let you guys know, these images are not my images, okay? This is part of the learning journey that I took at the beginning of the year. So if you click on the resource in the speaker notes of the Google slide deck, you'll find all the places that I got my wonderful resources from. Oh, I love it. Look at all of those guesses. And this is part of it too, guys, right? Whatever you're creating, whatever story you are sharing, that you are giving opportunity to spark interest, create engagement, and spark curiosity. And you always want to be having these spaces where your students can interact with you, whether your students are elementary, primary, secondary, high school students, or whether they're adults because you're an instructional coach, or even if you're a leader and you want to share the story, the journey of your school, like the success that you're having, etc. So really, really important spaces. Okay, awesome. So we have some guesses here. R2D2 saves Han Solo. And Mel has... great. Added a comment as well. I'm just going to click action so I can read it again. Getting old now, guys. I'm 40. Going to have to get the glasses out a little bit more often. So R2D2 saves Han Solo in an effort to defeat the Death Star. Awesome. Lightsabers, Death Stars. R2D2 gives a message. Luke gets his lightsaber, meets Han Solo, and destroys the Death Star. And you can see just by the different ways that people have connected to share their story, the ideas are a little different too, right? Like it's generally the same thing. We have R2D2, we have the Death Star and everything, but there's Han Solo in the first comment, and R2D2 is in both for sure, but lightsaber is not in everything. So you can see that the power of the icon draws on the memories or the experiences that we have watching Star Wars, and your students or your learners may also have that experience, but it also allows for differentiation and it allows for variation and it sparks engagement and conversation. So you saw how Mel and Shannon wanted to debate the story a little bit on the comments of the Google slide. So 4 simple icons, and look at all of that engagement that it's created. So super, super excited. Oh, that's awesome. Pile and Shannon said lots of fun, so that's great. Okay, so you guys are correct, and check this out. When you're finished having that conversation with your learners, you can move this little box that's hidden and get the answer, and that is correct. It is Star Wars. And so how are you leveraging the power of illustration with icons to do this? So this, for example, is, Georgina, I set up the deck and you guys are engaging with me, but what about if we can get our students to create their stories? What about, and what does it have to be a movie? Could it be a book? Could it be related to science? Could it be related to plant growth, etc.? So the ideas are starting to go. If you're an educator, which many of you are in the chat, this is the type of thing you want to get going. Okay, let's try the next 2. I'm just conscientious of time, so I want to try and finish in half an hour. I actually have to start work in 35 minutes, so we'll try and finish up in half an hour. Okay, let's see if you guys please join me on slide 6 and see if you guys can guess what this one is. So I'm going to give you guys a minute. And while you're taking guesses at those, I just want to remind you again also that you guys are welcome to, we have some guesses going, very exciting. Okay, awesome. I'm just checking the chat because I remembered there's a little bit of a delay. So before I move on, I'm just going to take a look. The robot spanner eyeball, yeah, Mel, super awesome. Oh, somebody's made an interesting guess at the top. Very interesting. And at the bottom, cool. And let me know in the chat, guys, have you guys seen this idea before of using icons to tell a story? I know probably many of you have seen like retelling a story using emojis, like writing with some text, and that is a way to use icons, right? So that's another idea. But have you seen something like this before? I'm curious to know. Hey, Becky, nice to see you. No, that's totally cool. You have not missed anything. We're just doing the 4-icon challenge. This idea comes from my Adobe for Education community, and I actually am going to be training my staff to do this after the winter break, so it's super exciting. Poisoned Saw. Yeah, lots of Romeo and Juliet. I love it. Okay, so let's see if you guys are correct. I'm going to move my... There we go. You guys got it spot on. I can't trick you guys at all. You guys are good. Good. So these are really cool things that you can do with your students. And like, it's the same idea, right? It doesn't have to be like, this one is obviously related to high school or secondary students because that's when we get into Shakespeare. Mostly, obviously some people started a little bit earlier, but mostly it's in the curriculum for secondary and high school. And this one is super fun because it's related to movies. But if you please join me on slide 7, this is a different twist. This was actually created by one of my Adobe for Education leader colleagues when we were at Bet UK in England. It was probably the last education technology conference I attended before COVID hit. And this is one of the things that I had the honor of watching one of my colleagues create in Adobe Illustrator. But we're going to see in a second that we can actually create this directly in our Google tools as well. And so how do you leverage also different tools to create differentiated technical experiences as well? So you can easily create these, as I said before, in Google Slides, in Google Drawings, or even in Jamboard now that they've upgraded to use the shape feature. And then when your students are ready and they want to get into something like this, then they can absolutely use other tools like Adobe Illustrator, where I use this. Thanks, Pile. That's awesome. So Pile is very excited about icons. That's great. To be honest, I'm very excited as well, as always. Okay, cool. People said Harry Potter, someone has a headache, struggles with math. I love that. That's my favorite ever. Struggles with math, flees on a train for a life without math. That is so cool. I absolutely love that. Please don't erase that. I'm very excited. I love that. Someone else said a kid with glasses and a scar takes a train to a castle. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. Okay, so let's see if you guys are correct. Harry Potter, yay! I'm assuming that's what the HP was for, so congratulations to that. And I was just turning off the alarms going off in my headset for my phone because it's connected to my computer, and it's letting me know you have to go to work in 30 minutes. Okay, so let's get going. All right, so this is Harry Potter. And again, my colleagues created these, so you can check that workout on the Creative Cloud. And it's also inspired by this Kyle Tezik, I hope I pronounced it correctly, if not, apologies, who created this idea of the 4-icon challenge. And we explored that when we were together at Bet UK. Okay, awesome. So let's keep going, guys. Remember, you can choose the GEG APAC logo to go back to your exploration slide. And we're now going to dive into curiosity. So I think I'm going to go on a guess here and say that I probably hooked you guys on curiosity already. But before I get into this slide, please, if you guys would love to create your own, feel free to grab a slide on the Jam deck, or you can also use Google Drawings and you can create an icon to start a conversation. So how else can we leverage the idea of illustration and icons in the class? But I want to talk a little bit more about curiosity. So I've obviously left you with this quote here. When people are curious about something, they learn more and better. And obviously, there's lots of different quotes on curiosity, and I probably use different ones in most of my presentations. What I like about this one is the word better, is that we can learn, humans, we can learn things. We're asked to go to school, we learn. We're at work, there's something new that's come out, and we're asked to learn about it, right? But when you're curious, why do you actually learn it better? We learn it better because we're interested, because we want to know the answer to the question that curiosity has created and inspired in us. And so curiosity is something really, really powerful. We have one of the hashtags at the school. Part of our branding is hashtags, and is the candle of curiosity. And it's really important not to let that candle and the wick burn out vertically as students and learners are going across their learning journey at school. And so always finding different ways to leverage really I want to say simple strategies, but this idea of images and icons, they can be as intricate or as detailed as you want, but how can we use them in new imaginative ways that will spark the curiosity of your students? Imagine that you're in an elementary school, and I know Becky's joining in the chat, and she's an elementary teacher, so shout out to her and anyone else who's watching. And so the whole idea is, what if your students haven't seen Star Wars yet? Imagine they see the little robot icon in that story, the 4-icon story, and they're thinking, oh, what is that? And I can't wait to watch that, age appropriate, of course. So it's that idea about curiosity. And I've also linked in a really awesome quote that I found on Twitter, and I'm just going to make that a little larger so that I can read it on air with you guys. Hold on one second. Let me just bring that to the front. There we go. Trevor McKenzie. So I actually found this on Twitter yesterday to add to this deck. Trevor McKenzie says, a Google search won't do. It's a start, but it won't do. Seek the dynamics, the depth, the sophistication, and the nuance. Inquiry-based learning is all based around curiosity. And I felt that was quite interesting. So obviously, Google searches are awesome, and obviously we use them, and obviously we support our learners to search responsibly with good digital citizenship on Google. But is finding the information enough to answer to the call of curiosity? That is the question. So I thought that was very interesting. Awesome. I was just checking the chat there. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and dive in now to the next part of curiosity, is creativity. So creativity, as you all probably guessed, is really, really important to me. Creativity is everywhere, all around us, and it's so important in education. So I've got this little icon that I used, and shout out to the Noun Project, where I actually got many of the icons that I'm using in this presentation today. I don't actually purchase a lot of subscriptions to many different things, but the Noun Project is one that I do actually have a paid subscription to, because the icons that they have in there are really, really brilliant. So shout out to them. Creativity, guys, want to ask in the chat, how can we use this idea of icon boarding or icon storytelling to inspire curiosity and creativity? So let me know in the chat what your ideas are. Oh, yes. Pile says it's midnight where she is. Okay, Pile, no problem. Thanks for joining, and we're very happy to see you. Grab the deck and enjoy that with your students. I'd love to see what you guys are creating in your classrooms after. So definitely tag me if you are looking into doing these activities with your students. So the idea here with creativity is that when you are empowering your students with spaces to create, giving them the tools and the strategies, you will allow them to be creative. So the idea here with icon boarding is you can also do it in a blended approach. So I've got here on the right hand side sketchnoting, and there's an article linked in there why teachers are so excited about sketchnoting and about drawing and about leveraging those illustrations and images to learn and to share and to create. And so take a look at that article if you want. This sketchnote is done by one of my creative mentors, Carrie Bachman, who also runs Doodle and Chat every Saturday morning in her time zone, evening in mine. So shout out to her. And basically, oh, hey, Sharon, nice to see you. Sharon is joining from Down Under, another inspiring educator. So make sure you guys follow all of these people. Guys, don't forget to share your Twitter handles in the chat so you all can connect with each other. It's important to keep the conversation going and to grow the professional learning network. So the idea here, guys, with sketchnoting is another form of using icons for visual recall, recognition, content, and also creation. And so there's all different ideas as to why. The biggest one probably is metacognition, because it allows you to talk through your learning process as you go, which is really, really important in education, as all you superstars in the chat know already. There is cat hair flying around me, guys, so sorry about that. That probably looked really weird on the camera, but I wasn't too interested in inhaling cat hair while I was doing a session. So guys, yeah, how can we do that? You can do that by sketchnoting. You can have students have a blended approach to this. It doesn't have to be always using a digital tool. There is absolutely nothing wrong with starting that, doing it on paper sometimes, grabbing a whiteboard and marker. Maybe they want to create their icon in 3D and create a clay model, and they can always photograph it and share it to get that message across, whether that's in your learning management system or wherever it is that you are, whether it's Google Classroom or et cetera, that you are using. And so really, really, really important. So take a look at that, guys, and think about how different ways that you can use the icon to share, to learn, and to create together. All right, so let's move along. Really, really exciting. On to iCONversation. Woohoo! Okay. Shannon is saying sometimes individuals may be limited by language and words for whatever reason, so icons could allow them to freely share their creative stories, and it puts everyone on equal playing ground. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Shannon. That is super awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and share that on the main screen so everybody can process your awesome share as well. So thank you for that. Okay, guys, so iCONversations, what can we do with those? So you've seen a couple of examples that I shared earlier through the 4 icon challenge, for example. And if you are new to design, it's always really awesome to use the idea of rule of thirds. And so when you have things in odd numbers in presentations, it's more appealing to the eye than an even. So that being said, the 4 icon challenge definitely breaks that rule. So I sometimes tell my students, if you're not able to get your icons in 4, you can always get them in 7. And when I will be teaching that unit again after the holidays, that will be the message that I give. So between 4 and 7 is good. All right, what are some ideas? And this is where I would love, we have some time left over. I felt like I was rushing a little bit there, but we actually have time. So I'd love to do that together. Let's go ahead and grab, and I'm just going to go back up here to number 4, slide 4, because it's linked into Google Drawings, and I'm going to open my Google Drawings. And I'd love for us, now, if you're logged in with your Google account, when you click on that link, it will open Google Drawings in your own. And so this is the GEG APAC online event. So I'm going to put share there. And here I'm going to create an icon with you guys. And I would love it if you all do one as well. Actually, what could be really fun is if you guys are able, if we're able to have a conversation. So one of my ideas here, and I'm just going to go back down to the iCONversation slide, was personalized. So your students could create their story. And you know how like on the first day of school, sometimes we have an all about me poster and they draw or they share a blog, or maybe it's a video log that they're doing now. But this whole idea of icons could very well be important. So they could have a picture of themselves in the center, for example, and they could have all of these different icons around them that represent who they are, or it could literally be like that 4 icon story. I could personally think of 4 different icons, and I did actually create one when I was doing that course with Adobe for Education before, and I had like my Google and my Adobe and like technology represented, and so you can have all of these things, and what do they mean for you? Okay, so it could be your personalized journey, or it could be teamwork. And this is my favorite part. Okay, so what you could do here is, and I'm just going to do a really simple one, not to take up too much time. So I'm going to use my shapes. So I'm going to create here the shape, and I'm going to make it white. I'm going to change the line size to maybe, let's try 4. No, let's try 8. There we go. And there we go. And I'm going to make the background, I'm going to fill using a square shape, and I'm going to fill the page here because this is a transparent background, and I'm going to fill it black. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to order it and send it to the back, because Google Drawings is really awesome as a design tool for infographics, and it works in layers, just like Google Slides actually a little bit, and also Jamboard. So you can layer your assets, so the items that you're placing on the board. Okay, so basically I'm going to create something, and let me know in the chat if you can figure out what I'm going to be drawing here. And I'm going to add another shape, which is a circle, but maybe more of an oval. And let's make that one black. And then I'm going to add a third circle, but I don't need to do it from the menu bar. Google Drawings is really awesome. If you use your Option key, if you're on a Mac, or if you use the Alt key, hold it down and drag this option, it duplicates it for you. So it's super cool. Okay. And I'm actually going to use the shape tool. Actually, no, I'm going to just do that. And I'm going to turn that one white. Yay. Okay, so what have I created? An eye. Yes, Pilar, you got it. So I've created an eye. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually for this intents purpose, I'm not going to leave the background. I'm going to highlight this icon, and I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to go over here to my Jamboard. Oh, yay, look at all of this. People are exploring. Thanks, guys. I'm going to come back and share this at the end. I'm going to go to slide 4, and I would absolutely love it if you all wanted to join me. Actually, I'll leave it white. I am going to place my, actually, no, that's not going to work, right? I need to download it first. So file, download as a PNG. Because we're in Google Drawings, it needs to be an image. And then I'm going to go into my Jamboard, and I'm going to upload that image. So I'm going to drag that image in here just like that. Yay. And I'm going to ask somebody to take over next. So now my image is in there. So I've created this icon. I see there's 2 people on the Jam slide, and I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat as well. Somebody's asking custom backgrounds. Oh yeah, the update reached me. Yes. Okay, so there's the link, guys, for this slide. So please join me, and I would love it. I'm going to come back to it. Okay. No pressure to do it like on the spot like I did. Please feel free either to use the shape tool here inside Jamboard to create the next part of the story. And let's see if we can create a 4 icon challenge together. And please feel free, use the Jamboard if you want, or you can use, as I said earlier, slide number 4, and you can click on Google Drawings to create your next story and your next icon in Google Drawings like I did, and you can add it to the Jam slide. So slide number 4, I'm going to leave you guys to create something. So I've started with I, and what would you like to say? What would you like to share? And so the idea here is that it can be collaborative, and you can use a variety of different applications. It doesn't just need to be on a Google slide or on a Jamboard or on Google Drawings. You can use all of them and app smash together. So as an educator, you want to think about how are you creating spaces inside your learning journey, every lesson or every unit, where your students are actually curious about what they're learning. So for example, if you're learning plant growth in grade 2 in an elementary classroom, you could very easily, instead of an I, rotate that vertically and change the color, obviously, and turn it into a seed. And then ask your students, what are the next steps of the plant growth cycle, right? So the seedling, the stem, etc., and how does it grow? And so you're giving your students place to connect and recall what they're learning and to create something really meaningful for them. So you might even decide to have 4 icons on your board or on your Jam slide, and you could actually have your students order them. So other ideas that I shared with you here on slide, I'm a little bit hopping all over the place, so you can just remember to click on the GEG APAC to go back to the main screen. And then I'm going to click on iCONversation. So yeah, one of this was teamwork, and it was, and also sequencing. So sequencing, that's what I was talking about with having your icons pre-made, not in order, and having your students place them in order. You could super do that with science also, and have different chemical bonds, right? And say, like, what order do these need to be in to create X for, this. You could also do it for PE if you want to do what does shooting a 3-pointer in basketball look like? Do you jump first, or do you set up? Do you align the ball? And so how can you use icons to show that sequencing? Awesome for recall. You could create series. So if you're studying a book like Harry Potter, for example, we saw an example earlier where all of the icons were together to show the whole story. But hey, what about chapter per chapter, or maybe not in Harry Potter, but in other books like units, portion sections of the book? How can students use icons to bring that to the front? Social emotional learning is so important, especially right now, depending on if students are learning from home or in a hybrid setting or completely virtual like my setting. And so it is a great way for check-ins too. They don't have to be for stories or content. They could be about your feelings. And so I'm really excited about sharing this with my staff, because I think it's going to give students at our school an outlet to be able to share in other ways, and ways that are really personalized for them. So yeah, the power of the icon and power of illustration. You could use them as writing or blogging prompts as well. For example, if you wanted to ask them to write about the Egyptian pyramids, for example, you may create a pyramid icon, right? Or you may create a Tutankhamun tomb, exactly, etc., and have them write about that. And then ask them, add more icons, create more to make your blog more visually representative as well. Branding and identification is a really big one. Obviously, for example, Google have awesomely created the book chapters with the Google colors in them to represent the GEG, the Google Educator Group branding, right? And so when we think about branding, what is an icon? What is an image that visually represents you or your personal brand? And it's really important for students to learn about that as well. So loads of great ideas there. We talked about blended learning, and of course, celebration. So when you're doing, and this is one of my favorite things to do, that's my alarm going off to remind me I have to work in 10 minutes. So to let you guys know, when you're doing things like a gallery walk on a Jamboard or on a Google slide deck, and students have things, you could have them as a flipped learning experience. You could have them pre-create an icon to celebrate, or 3, right? You could say, right, you want to give feedback to your students. And there are really awesome ways here. You can click on insert image and you can very awesomely search for royalty-free images here, like well done in Google Slides, and you can come up with these, right? And that's awesome. And you can definitely add this to your slide deck, for example, and it is a way to say, hey, this is a really awesome thing, congratulations, well done, etc. And you can do the same in Jamboard, right? But what about if students created their own formative assessment and their own feedback symbols? So icons have no limits. Visual learning, visual sharing, visual creativity has no limits. Why do we have to be limited to things that already exist? Why can't students create them? You could even create a jam slide, for example, and you could have them all input, and you can create a bank of visual feedback that your students can then copy and use when they're doing gallery walks together. So it's really, really awesome. Just checking the chat here. Okay, cool. So those are some of my ideas of how you could use this in your lessons with your students. I would love to hear more. If you guys would love to add your own ideas, let me know in the chat, or feel free to add them to this Google slide deck. I'm just going to go ahead now. I'm going to give you guys more time. I don't want to open the jam slide yet because I want to give you an extra, let's say an extra 4 minutes, guys, to create your little icons. As you saw, it took me only a minute or 2 to create the eyeball that I created in Google Drawing. And again, as simple or as intricate as you would like to create these images or these icons is totally up to you and your students. So sky's the limit, as I like to say, or space is the limit. Maybe that would be better representation. Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead down to slide 12 before I go back to check out what you guys have created. And I'm going to go to my sharing is caring slide. All right, so I would love for you guys, I know we're wrapping up the school year soon. Most people are going to be going on holidays in the next week or 2. And so if you're looking for an activity to like unwind with your students, this is a great way to do so. So please do so. It's super fun. I've shared different ideas. You probably are already thinking about your own ideas, but try one of these iCONversation starters, or create an icon board story, or complete that as an activity with your students. List one way that you're looking forward to igniting curiosity and creativity within your community. And I'd love for you to share that out on Twitter. If you do so, please be sure to tag GEG APAC, iCONversation, or iCONboarding, whichever of the 2 you're going to choose to try. Creativity for all. And of course, you can tag me at TechieLeaderEDU on Twitter, and I would love to celebrate your creative ideas that you are sharing. So this is my little sharing is caring challenge for all of you. And I've just linked in the same slide deck again. So I'm going to go and check it out now. You may have had time to add to the story. You may not have. I'm also going to check out the Q&A slide. Okay, no questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. And okay, let me go back to our Jamboard. Oh, yay! Okay, I'm going to take a guess. Don't tell me, guys, okay? And also what's really cool is this is anonymous. I know soon, like there's recent updates that are rolling out from Jamboard for version history, but for right now, I can actually do this as anonymous. So your students can feel they can take those creative risks, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a guess. So here's a really cool idea. You could either use the pen tool. So then you could say, once you've created your story, and I'm just going to go and have a go at this, guys. I'm going to choose black, I guess. Yeah. And I'm going to put or you can use the text tool as well. And I'm going to say love. This is so much fun. Oh my goodness. What a great way to start my week. Here in the Middle East, guys, we start our work week on Sunday. So today's my first day of the week. I love, now this is interesting. Cake could be cake, or it could be birthday Oh, I have an idea because some of the people in the chat know that it's my birthday today. Okay, I have an idea. Let's go with birthday then. But you see, so students, you guys have been awesome participating to support the session. So thank you very much. But you can use this in your class, right? Your students create stories and then they have to go through and see if it's correct. You can also do things like ask your students, is the story in the correct order? Is plant growth in the correct order? So it's really, really cool. And I'm going to say a girl, I think. And if I'm wrong, let me know. And maybe we need a preposition in there, but it's the idea that counts. Is that correct, guys? Let me know in the chat if I got that correct. And if so, I love you guys too. Everybody who's joining, that's so sweet. And so as you can see, it's really, really fun to guess the message that people are trying to say. You know, I think about when I was a younger, child. I'm still young at heart, by the way, but when I was younger, I used to love like playing that telephone game where you would start a sentence and you'd make a story as you go around the circle. And so it's the same idea, but you can do it with images. And what a beautiful way to share a story. Yay, thank you very much. That's so kind of you guys. Okay, cool. So you guys get the idea and you can see how much fun this can actually be to have a conversation using illustration and text. So that is basically the idea of today's session. And I'm just going to go through and celebrate also these awesome slides that others created. And so there's different icons here. It's story time. I love that. I love how Elmo is here for story time. So cool. Okay, I'm excited. All right. Some gifts. Story times are good for bed. Stories, when you're camping, when you're hiking, to learn. Awesome. I don't know this icon. So if this is your slide, I would be super interested. Oh, waterfalls. Maybe it was waterfalls. I saw waterfalls in the chat. Maybe it's waterfalls. Yay, that's so cool. Thanks, Sharon. That's super cute. You guys are awesome. What would I do without my awesome PLN? Right. So this is perfect. An icon board to say all about you. So this person is a teacher and all about them. They love reading. They love chilling on the couch, maybe. They love watching black and white series on the TV, possibly. And they teach science, possibly. I could be wrong on that. And so you can see how fun it is, right? We're taking guesses to try and find out about people. Oh, yay. Mel says it's a waterfall. Okay, cool. And then slide number 6. Thank you, Adriana. That's super fun. You guys are so cute. So today was not all about my birthday, but I was very excited to share all about icon boarding and creating and invoking conversation using illustration. So thank you for being awesome, awesome people and awesome googly ed tech leaders and sharing with me today. But please, I hope these ideas are helpful. I hope that it's something new. Pilar says Netflix and chill. Yep. That's awesome. So thank you for sharing. So there's loads of different ways that you can do it. And there are things for younger learners, like we have those Bitmojis as you saw from the Jam deck. We have free images like you saw. So there's ways that you can scaffold the learning experiences for your students. And as they get older, as you want to differentiate, then you can go actually into creating your own icons. So I would really greatly appreciate it if you guys would be awesome and share your feedback with me. And so here is the feedback form link to the, there we go, Google form. Yeah, I would love it if please share this out, guys. Please download the Google slide deck. I definitely left it able for you guys to download. Share these awesome ideas. Let me know what your shares are, how you've been able to use it in the classroom. And I would love to celebrate you guys. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to reading all about that on Twitter and reading all about that in your googly GEG communities. And I can't wait to see what you and your students and your educators are getting up to. So again, just shooting back up to slide number 2. And if you would love to connect with me, my Twitter is linked into the Twitter icon, and as well as many other places. So yeah, tag GEG APAC, tag iConboarding or iCONversation if you're able to get up to that this week. And I am so excited. So guys, I got to head to work. It's 7:30 a.m. I want to thank you for helping me kickstart my day creatively and googly with everybody. And I want to just take the opportunity to say thank you for everything you guys are doing in education. All the people in the chat that joined today are absolutely doing a stellar job in education to support students in very difficult times of the year. And I want to say a big thank you to each of you for also coming in your own time to come and check out this session to learn how you can continue to provide awesome experiences for your students. So thank you very much. And finally, guys, please check out the other events that are coming up later today at GEG Asia Pacific event. I'm going to drop that link in the chat one more time here. You can just click on all of these. It's so cool. And shout out to all the educators at GEG APAC, especially my good friend Adriana, who has organized all of the English sessions. And so you can just click on the language that you'd like to attend, and you can click here to see the details of the other events. What's really great, just like here at the GEG Man channel, all of the sessions are recorded. So if you've missed anything or you'd like to go back and check it out, there are so many sessions. You can just click on the YouTube link to watch on demand. So please, please, please check that out. There's so much goodness in there. Awesome. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today at GEG Man and GEG APAC. Enjoy the rest of the day and stay safe, guys. Okay, until next time.